From one anomaly to another, can the Suns shut down Steph Curry? Just know if they do, I'm posting about it on Twitter. Psychos and sickos unite for a potential 3 wins in a row edition of PHNX Suns pregame show, brought to you by Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you. At Gila River Resorts and Casinos, visit playatgila.com for more details. I'm Eric. That's Mr. Film Session himself. That's Steven. We got the man behind the film session and behind the Mac making all the magic happen. It's Ayrton. Shout out to my dad, Groundhog Mama, Kara, Jeff, Austin, Kev, Shia, Sean, Jeff. Thank you all so much. Russell for being in here as well. Spam the SMW emoji in chat as the Suns look for their 3rd win in a row against the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry. We'll get to injury report, keys to the game, the Suns must win meter. But first, Steven, we're still riding high off of a victory on Sunday where the Suns put together one of the best defensive performances that the NBA has seen against the anomaly and Victor Wembanyama. You and Ayrton linked up and put out a film session that's live on our channel right now. Give me one quick highlight from what you saw from the Suns' defensive scheme against Wemby.
Yeah, physicality. And it's him feeling someone touching him all the way up and down the court. In transition, as soon as he goes from defense to offense, somebody's touching him. He tries to work in the post, somebody's touching him. He gets an actual catch, which on the rare occasion he did. There's probably a couple of guys that are legally touching him. So that part is important. The physicality is what the Suns' defense is going to be successful in a sustained manner based off of when they do it to the extent that they did on Sunday. We see what they can do as a unit against some of the best talents in the league.
Do you feel like that is something that might be just unique to Wemby, that the Suns had the personnel to get physical, to get up in his grill? Because what I look at now tonight, I think it's so funny. 2 very polar opposite types of players in Wemby and Steph Curry, but both present challenges that nobody else in the league represents. Do you feel like the type of game planning the Suns did to make Victor Wembanyama uncomfortable? Is there a different type of game planning they can do to make Steph a veteran in this game and somebody who people have tried to throw everything at and stop over his decade-long career? Like, what can you do against Steph? Is there a game plan that you can sit down and do like you did with Wemby?
No.
Well, that's the pregame show, folks.
We're
screwed.
There's literally nothing under the sun that you can do to Steph Curry that he hasn't seen 50, 60, 70 times over at this point, especially on the NBA level. Dude is he's a savant that matches the level of skill that he brings. And that part just makes him nearly impossible to guard. So it's going to be about their defensive off-ball prowess, and we'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you look at Steph tonight, too, because as we get into the injury report here, of course, presented by the husband and wife law team, make sure you give them a call if you have a serious accident or injury at 602-783-8841. The husband and wife law team. Visit their website at husbandandwifelawteam.com. Not a full slate for the Warriors. Obviously, the Suns still without Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks, and Ryan Dunn is available after taking that spill, after trying to go at Victor Wembanyama. Isaiah Livers, after missing a game, is available. For the Warriors, they are missing Al Horford, DeAnthony Melton, their 2 biggest free agent signings, will be out. Alex Tui is out, their draft pick. And Jimmy Butler is a game-time decision, questionable with a lower back. Coach Steve Kerr said it is possible that he does not play tonight on the first end of a back-to-back for Golden State. So I feel like when it comes to offense, if the Warriors are missing Jimmy Butler, Steph is going to kind of feel like, hey, I got to go out here and have a classic Steph performance, because the Warriors are also coming off of 2 losses where you look at the teams they were playing, you're like, yeah, they shouldn't have lost those games.
Well, the Giannis matchup is a little different just because I'm not going to be mad at anybody that thinks
Fair.
Giannis might be better than Steph at this stage in Steph's career because of the all-encompassing two-way of Giannis. But he also had a great game that game too. But that Pacers game was not a pretty one for them. So they're coming back home looking to get back right. And I think that part is going to be something we have to keep in mind with Steph because I don't know if another player has relished playing in front of a home crowd and the home crowd returning that energy that he brings to the game. I don't know if there's a player in recent history, at least, that's been embraced to that extent. So Chasing is going to, well, nope. The arena that the Golden State Warriors play in
you can say Chase
is going to be electric.
That's fine. You can say it. It's the name of the arena.
I don't want to hear dude getting on my case.
Well, dude gets on your case, I'll get on his case. I don't care. I think it's interesting because you mentioned not just a home advantage for the Warriors, but the Suns have very distinctly been a better team at home this season than they have on the road. In fact, the Suns are 3-4 overall and 3-1 at home, meaning they have not yet won a road game. And they've played in some tough environments, right? They played in the Intuit Dome, no free ads. They played at Ball Arena, no free ads. And they played at the Delta Center. Is that what Utah is? They played the Delta Center, no free ads in Utah. 3 uniquely tough experiences based off of like literal climate and altitude, or of course the wall with the Intuit Dome.
And back-to-back nature of a couple of those.
Sure. Plus, the home team plays better. The role players play better. How can the Suns approach tonight in a different sense? What execution-wise can they do that they weren't doing on their first road stand in order to flip their luck?
Yeah, their first road stand was also their first time going up against teams that had above average to elite off-ball prowess with their offense. So having a center that their guards can play off of to the extent that the Clippers do, which is different of the way that the Nuggets do it, which is different of the way that the Utah Jazz do it. All 3 have a similar context to play they spend time in, but they all have different personnel. It makes it very different. That was their first stretch going up against teams that operate that way. So it came with high variance. Couple highs, but extremely low lows that put them at deficits in each of those games. They have the film plus the game planning to prepare and having gone up through that experience-wise too. So now it's less about them trying to figure out how to go against those things. And obviously against Steph is different from either one of those 3 teams. But they have proof of concept with how to do it successfully. So now it's time to test the waters on it.
It's going to be a really big difference?
Mark Williams?
Yeah, Mark Williams is going to be starting for this basketball team.
I wasn't sure where you was going with it, but I figured.
Yeah, Mark Williams in the starting 5. Same starting 5 that we've seen. Devin Booker. Wow, they messed up this graphic that there's. I'm reading the names off. Sorry, I'm just looking at the Suns social account. Devin Booker, Grayson Allen, Ryan Dunn, Royce O'Neal, Mark Williams are the 5 tonight against the Warriors. I think this has been a really, really good 5-man lineup.
Man in the chat. What up,
Come
man?
on. Just got a haircut. Feel top 5. I love that, man. You stop somewhere in Golden State. That's what I like to hear.
You should make him our pregame correspondent since he got time to be in the chat.
Yeah, why don't you just call in from the bench, man? Would love it. Starting Mark Williams against a Warriors team that's also missing Al Horford, I think Al Horford would have presented a pretty unique challenge, not just for this team, but for Mark Williams in general, considering he would be the best three-point shooting big that this team had faced. Obviously, Jokic can do it, but as far as actually shooting the ball this year, he wasn't doing it a ton when they were playing. So not having Al Horford, I think, allows Mark Williams to maybe have a little bit more of a certified focus on defense, but he will still be going up against a guy like Draymond Green. Likely, obviously they'll be switching and everything on the offensive end, which will present a unique challenge of its own.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they match up with the Warriors and what they look to take away and how they look to go about doing that more than anything. But I think the goal is still going to be the goal for the Suns, and that's hitting the boards, being physical, and playing out in transition.
Or as Jordan Ott would say, the priority is the priority.
That part, the plan is the plan. The priority is the priority. All of that. Yep.
We have a starting lineup for the Warriors per correspondent Russell Smith in the chat. Says Warriors starting Quentin Post, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga, and Draymond Green. So Jimmy Butler playing, which is tough tonight.
I was about to bring up the Quentin Post part because you talked about Horford being a spacing 5. He does more than just that. Post is pretty much just that in his second season. He finds other marginal ways at times, but the most value he brings for them is spacing it as a 5, being able to knock down 2 or 3 or maybe sometimes even 4 threes in a game. So it puts a different strain and stress on Mark Williams and his rotations, but that's why I'm curious if that's going to be who he's matched up with.
Yeah, who do you think? So, again, Suns have Book, Grayson, Dunn, O'Neal, Williams. The Warriors have Curry, Butler, Kuminga, Green, Post. That's a pretty big lineup for Golden State. How do you see the Suns defensively? Who's guarding who? Let's start with Book. Who is Book guarding in that?
Devin's probably guarding Podziemski.
He's not starting?
He's not starting.
It's Curry, Butler, Kuminga, Green, Post. Is Devin Booker going to be on Quentin Post?
He's probably guarding Draymond.
Draymond? Okay.
I would personally go with Royce on Quentin Post.
Okay.
I would put Mark Williams on Jimmy Butler.
Mark Williams on Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy is not a three-point shooter. If he's shooting threes, what is that doing for your defense? Is that a favor or is that something you want to take away?
So does that mean Grayson Allen on Kuminga or Ryan Dunn on Kuminga? Because then you have the ultimate problem, which is Steph Curry.
Yep. I think you probably end up throwing Grayson on Kuminga.
Yeah. And that might lend itself to a good Jonathan Kuminga game who has been hooping.
But the thing is, if he's pulling up or shooting threes, that's what you want.
Sure.
If he's not getting to the paint because you got Mark Williams just chilling around, similar to what they did against the Spurs, but still different because there's no Wemby there. You keep Mark around the basket as much as you can. That should help you out.
I mean, this is certainly something that Jordan Ott has been looking at.
Of course.
Even if Al Horford did play instead of Quentin Post or, looking at Butler and Draymond, they present such unique challenges defensively and offensively as well. Those are two fantastic playmakers, which is very dangerous when you have a guy like Steph. I do feel like this is a game where, and Freckled Mamba brought it up before the show, where you're really missing Dillon Brooks. Because having Dillon Brooks, not just for like the tone setting on the road, but to maybe have this guy, okay, I don't know if Royce is going to be able to handle his own as much on the perimeter on Steph. If he gets a switch, I trust Dillon Brooks a lot more with that. Jimmy Butler roaming, Jonathan Kuminga rolling. Like, I trust Dillon Brooks a lot more with that. So this is maybe, it's funny to say it because they've played multiple teams that are starting 7-footers and really big guys, but this might be the matchup least prone to success having Royce O'Neal out there in the starting lineup, but he's been hooping.
Yeah, that's where it gets a little dicey, just looking at the way things match up with these two teams without Dillon. And that speaks to his importance to this team because though we've seen them have options on the table, they're still different from what he is as a player. And you talk about the Suns wanting to be better with their starting of games. Some of that comes from just not having Dillon Brooks around. Because we saw it in the preseason. Right after the jump ball, he's diving
in there.
Literally on the ground. First guy to hit the floor. So, like, that stuff you can't really replicate. Royce is doing a great job with it, and he just 3-ball to continue to fall at that north of 40% clip.
This definitely needs to be a game where your 3-point shooting sustains. I guess you can't really sustain what you were doing against San Antonio, but you've got to be hitting a good percentage of your threes and making them pay. That obviously is one of my keys, but Steven, what are your keys to a win tonight?
Yeah, starting again, like I mentioned earlier, the off-ball defensive prowess needs to be sharp. Generally speaking, because it's not just Steph that they get into off-ball movement with, but specifically and especially on him because obviously he's the focal point. He's that dude. If you can at least disrupt his rhythm a little bit, maybe force him into some turnovers early, that's probably the best formula for success that you could put together because once he's putting up shots at that point, you just got to, if you're a praying person, you got to pray to your maker.
Like when I remember when Austin Rivers, when Dame missed a shot and Austin Rivers looked up and was like, thank you.
Exactly. It's about time. Exactly. Key number 2 is finding your defensive activity, which lends to my second point. And the Warriors have always been, even with Steph at the helm, a team that is prone to turnovers and barrages. If you can get them on one of those kind of barrages early on, break their rhythm, and get another pocket in the middle and another pocket late in the game, that's going to be your kind of best way to take what they do best, find ways to poke at what they do, and then put yourself in transition, which is where you're at your best. And then last part for me, Warriors' second unit, especially without Al Horford, isn't the best in terms of production. The fire department for the Suns has to come in and be active. So particularly Colin Gillespie, but you also want to find some bucket getting from someone else from that group as well tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to need it, right? Yep. I would love for this to be the Nigel Hayes-Davis game. That would be awesome. If Nick Richards or Oso, I mean, we saw one of Oso's best games last year early in the season come when he had to start against the Golden State Warriors. Maybe this is an Oso game off the bench. This is, again, when you talk about Dylan Brooks in the starting lineup, if he was back or if Jalen Green was playing tonight, having Grayson and Royce come off the bench would have been really, really great for this team tonight. And I get it. Like it feels like the odds are stacked a little bit against Phoenix on the road against a good Golden State team that has a majority of their starters. Obviously, Quentin Post he's a good player. I don't think a lot of people know about him. He's definitely a good player and still a good stretch big. This is a big wing heavy team and a team that has the best perimeter threat in the league still, right? So when you miss some of your best options to try to counteract all of that, it's tough for the Suns. But one thing that Austin said in the chat a while ago is, one thing I know about this team is they're going to show up and they're going to fight. And that is the best part about this, is not only will they fight, Steven, but we know that they are going to have a game plan to mask some of their weaknesses. Because obviously you were at the arena, but when we were sitting here pregame against Wemby, it was, the Suns don't have somebody to guard Wemby. They don't have, like, starting Royce O'Neal's or against the Jazz, right? Starting Royce O'Neal against 7-footers. Like, you're going to need to find a way to get your rebounding deficient. Like, they found a way to make it work. This is yet another test for them on the road. Can they pick up their first road win of the season against one of the oldest teams in the NBA, but still one of the most dangerous despite losing 2 games in a row?
Yeah, for all the unction jokes that go on for the Clippers, the Warriors got it in spades, for real. I think that's what makes this matchup unique. I know the Suns are going to bring it in terms of their energy. They're going to bring their hard hats and blue collars. They're going to have a level of preparation and game plan that's going to put them in position to be successful if they execute. But what I love so much about Golden State is the IQ part, because they share it. It's not that Steph knows what's going on and everybody else is trying to figure it out. Pretty much everybody in their rotation, especially starting lineup, understands what to do and how to do it off of Steph. They're great with read and react. That's a salute to Steve Kerr for sure. We've seen remnants of it with Jordan Knott in these early stages, but that's the deciding factor for me with the Warriors, and that's why I feel like it's gonna be tough for the Suns tonight, especially in Chase Center.
Yeah, I mean, I think despite the records, this will probably be a tougher game than against the Spurs, because one of the things that you saw against San Antonio, I think San Antonio is a really good team. San Antonio is a very young team, right? And they're still learning. Wemby is still learning how to handle everything that's thrown at him, and he's still one of the best players in the league. He's still an MVP candidate despite what happened against Phoenix. But when you look at, like, Stephon Castle, right? When you see Stephon Castle commit a foul 3 times in one possession, I was about to say that's not going to happen tonight, but then again, the Warriors have Draymond Green. Actually, they won't call 3 fouls in one possession on Draymond Green, even if he commits them.
They will on Kuminga, though.
They will on Kuminga, though. But you saw there was kind of this veteran presence that Devin Booker was bringing, Grayson Allen was bringing, where it felt like they were the calm and steady hand, while San Antonio started to panic when things didn't go their way early. Wemby kind of panicked and was thrown off of his rhythm, and something that, you highlighted with how they did that in your film breakdown that's live on our channel. But he was immediately, it felt like he was just out of it, and he was out of it the whole game, right? Even if you have a good quarter against Steph, he's not rattled. If you have a good half against the Warriors, not rattled, right? Draymond Green, he might respond in a way that makes it appear like he's rattled, but as long as he is still on the court, he's not rattled. Jimmy Butler doesn't get rattled. Steve Kerr doesn't get rattled. So whatever you throw at them, even if you make them uncomfortable early, this is a team that I'm much more confident in the Warriors than the Spurs, that will read and react to what the Suns will throw out there, making it a multi-layered test. That being said, this is not an impenetrable Golden State team. This is a Golden State team that is 4-3. What have you seen from their play that maybe the Suns can exploit tonight? Because we spent about 20 minutes talking about the Golden State positives. They're 4-3 right now, so they're not a world beater.
Yeah. They're on the bottom end, but they're top third in offense and defense so far. But their point of attack defense is not the best. What is the best is having Draymond Green behind those point of attack guys to make help decisions and put out fires and all of that fun stuff. So if you can win at the point of attack, especially if you can involve Steph Curry in as much action as you can possibly manipulate, A+, live with the shots that come from that. There should be opportunities for catch and shoots as Draymond is helping off of guys, trying to showing the gaps and keep them from getting all the way to the rim. There's going to be opportunity there. The Suns just have to be on their sharpness to knock down the shots and keep advantages in the way that they have. And I think It's probably, if they're going to win this game, it's going to be a plus game from both Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal.
Yeah, I think you're definitely going to need that. I'm also really focusing on Mark Williams tonight. I don't know who's going to guard him. They're probably going to throw a little bit of everybody. I can't imagine. Actually, I don't know. There might be some posts on him considering how small the other four are on the court, the ball movement, how they're all going to run off of screens and shoot. They might end up putting Quentin posts on Mark Williams. If not, obviously Draymond and Jimmy Butler are really great defenders and Jonathan Kuminga is really athletic, but he's got the size advantage over them. Do you have the mental fortitude to fight like you did against Wemby, somebody who's bigger but weaker than you, to go out there and to dominate, to make your presence known? Maybe not get 20 and 10, but if you have 10 and 10 with really solid defense, right, that's a way to just steady this game out against a team that can get you off kilter so easily. There's a lot that goes into this game, and the Suns are one game away from being 500 on the season, one game away from winning 3 in a row, right, and getting their first road win. So is it a must-win? Steven, let's take a look at our must-win meter for the evening. You know what I've noticed about you, Steven?
What's up?
You're creeping up. You're creeping up a little bit. I never thought that you would even get to a 5 in the regular season until it got down to crunch time and the Suns are fighting for the 1 seed. Espo is at a -2. Wish he was here to explain it because I just don't get that. His meter is starting to break. And then I'm at a 9 per usual. Not a 10 because you've won 2 in a row, but a 9. Why are you at a 5 right now? That's pretty high for you, Steven.
Yeah, so context and build up. So you've won 2 games in a row. You've yet to win a road game yet this season. I feel like context-wise, the opportunity that's at your hands tonight is something that you need to work to seize. You can only play the games that are in front of you, and you look at what you've done the last 2 games, and really even the last 4 or 5, they've been playing better incrementally. So there's been a little bit of a build-up. You're operating without 2 of your 3 best players. We know that part.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that they played to the level that they have the last 2. Now it's about really seeing how good you can be on any given night. And if you can go and get one like this, that makes the last 2 that you won in tandem with this one something that you can truly build off of.
Elko82, my favorite comment of pregame so far, says, Espo says Suns must lose.
I mean, isn't that what a negative would be?
Yeah, I guess
on
so.
A must-win meter and you're negative?
This is a must-lose meter. Vibes are getting too high. Here's my thing, right? I like how you said this is the moment. There's been a build-up to it. There's 2 wins in a row. The feeling about this team as compared to Thursday or Wednesday night after the Memphis loss, and that's going to be a lot at this season. It's kind of night and day. Ayrton was going at somebody in our 3 p.m. show chat yesterday that was like, here you guys are, excited after the Suns win 2 games. If they lose 2 games in a row, you're going to be all sad and talking about how bad they are. And Ayrton's like, welcome to sports, bro. Like, this is what it kind of feels like, to where if we can stack a win here, right? Now you're 500, your 2 biggest losses are a back-to-back against the Clippers and the Nuggets. You've got some tough games, including the Clippers, coming up here soon. You're going to feel a lot better about it from a team perspective and from a fan perspective. So a lot of these early season ones, man, they're not must wins because you don't have a fully healthy lineup, but with the way this momentum is going, you would just love to see them continue to stack and stack and stack. And at minimum, Steven, I'd like to at least see them play a good game tonight and not have a blowout against a pretty decent team on the road.
Yeah, I mean, it starts there. You play to a certain level that we know that they've shown to play to. This should be one that they're going into the clutch 5-point game in the last 5 minutes, and at that point, it's a dice roll. Whoever executes best in that mini game within the 48 minutes, that final 5 turns into a game in and of itself. They do that, I can see them pulling out a win in Chase Center, which would be
definitely
something that really starts to get the attention of the national media, because people saw Wemby and they're like, yeah, anybody could do that on any given night. Wemby maybe had a bad game. What about if you follow that up immediately and go and have a good game in Chase Center?
Oh, they could totally win tonight. I think the way this team has been playing recently, I don't expect that to really be a drop-off. Now, if they miss some shots, obviously that could not go their way, but I don't expect their process or their fight or their willpower to fall off. Matthew says every game's important, and I think in the Western Conference, that's something to keep in mind, where you look at one because it was OKC, but 2 through 8 last season were separated by I think 5 games, and 2 through 6 and 7 were separated by 2 games, right? The Suns already dug themselves a mini hole right? Being 1-3 and losing 3 games in a row. Digging yourself out of that early and winning 3 in a row before you still continue to face a brutal stretch of teams coming up, that would be important. Obviously, that's what we think as far as a must-win meter, but what do our friends over at Bet365 have the line at tonight? Let's go ahead and take a look at that here, as the Suns are big underdogs on the road, plus 9.5 on the spread, plus 325 on the money line. Warriors minus 9.5 on the spread, minus 425 on the money line. Steven, is that a little surprising to you? 10-point dogs on the road.
Definitely. I thought that was insane.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like minus 3.5, maybe 4 at most. But 9.5 is crazy.
Yeah,
I mean plus. Yeah, that's insane.
Well, and that's what the books think. But what do we think happens tonight? Let's take a look at our score predictions. All of us are picking the Warriors, but the only one who's having it close to 9 is Espo. Steven, you're 114 to 108. Espo's 115 to 106. I'm taking a 1-point victory for Golden State, 108 to 107. So still a 6-point victory for Golden State tonight, but a close one in your eyes.
Yeah, I think if it gets into the clutch, I think that's where the continuity and chemistry and having been there before and done that before factor works in favor of Golden State while also being at home. If the Suns are knocking down their threes, though, that will do enough for them to navigate that well and potentially go and get the dub tonight, no pun intended. But things are going to get very weird defensively from the Warriors with Devin Booker. So don't be expecting man all the time, because Steve Kerr is not going to just let him go to work on everybody. It's going to be box on one. It's going to be matchup zones, 2-3 zones, all of that fun stuff. So they got to navigate it and just simply knock down the shots that he's able to create off of the attention that he's receiving.
Getting booed in the chat. Listen, chat. Listen, I've predicted 2 Suns losses in a row. Okay? And I'll leave it at that. I'm not switching it up. And I'm never switching up on Bet365. Let's take a look at what our pregame picks are. Sign up, use code PHNX365, deposit 10, place a bet for 5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. And Bet365 must be 21 plus and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 52342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Do we have the standings? Just
that man asking for stuff we already
plus
know.
112, 25, minus 70 for Espo. Just saying. Let's see what Espo's putting his money on tonight. Ooh, that's a big parlay. Taking the Suns at plus 9.5, which actually, yeah, he had the Warriors by 9, so that technically counts. And taking Booker and Curry to each score 35 plus points at a plus 2,400. I don't hate that. I actually don't hate that parlay at all. But is it a winner parlay? This is what a winner parlay looks like, folks. Welcome to the Jonathan Kuminga Show. He's going to be trying to show off for his future team. He's had a really good season so far. I'm taking the over at 27.5 PRA. I'm taking a Book over as well, but over 10.5 assists and rebounds. I think they're going to throw a lot of attention at Book. He's going to be passing the ball a ton. If shots fall, I think he gets that pretty easily. I got Draymond Green over 1.5 stocks. Part of that is I do think he'll be guarding Mark Williams, and I think that with a big man like that, Draymond's going to be prone to be swiping for the ball, get some steals, and I wouldn't be surprised if he just closes his eyes and walks into a block. To get in that at a plus 630 technically, because I have a 30% profit boost on a plus 410. What do you think, Steven? Your final thoughts? Suns, Warriors on the road. Suns looking for 3 straight wins. The Warriors looking to snap a 2-game skid.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how many stops the Suns can stack in succession with one another. They call them kills. But how that helps for Devin Booker, because in the half court, he's going to be able to go find his spots, but it's going to take another level of work, another level of thinking because of the ways that Golden State is going to throw different things at him. You can't throw different things at him in transition. And the open court is the best advantage in all of basketball in terms of points per possession. So they can get into that transition opportunity often. I think that's where they can dictate things.
Ryan Dunn, stay out of foul trouble.
Gotta be.
That's a big key tonight. Also, Ryan Dunn, hit your threes because they're going to leave you wide fucking open.
Guess
They're
who-
going to
that's
leave
why I
you
ain't
so
got-
open.
Guess who I think Draymond's guarding?
Yeah.
Ryan Dunn.
Ryan went 3 of 4 last game, 1 of
Mhm.
7 the game before. At least find a happy medium there. And then Colin Gillespie on the bench. Your offense is much, much, much needed. Those are 3 different players and things that I'm watching tonight. What do you all think? Drop your score predictions down in chat. As a reminder, no watch along today, but we will have a post-game show, the 3 of us holding it down for you in downtown Phoenix. But you can always follow at PHNX_Suns during the game. Listen, I've been getting my jokes off. I've been getting my memes off, okay? It's a fun follow. Really would enjoy it if y'all gave us a follow over there at PHNX_Suns. Plus, you get all your news and notes on the Suns as well. Of course, you can follow Steven at StevenPG3, offering stats, film breakdowns on just his socials, plus, of course, film breakdown right here on this channel. That's your halftime viewing, how the Phoenix Suns shut down Wemby right here on this channel, and, of course, produced, as always, by our guy, the Freckled Mamba behind the Mac, making all the magic happen. You can follow him at Freckled Mamba. We'll see y'all post-game for a 3-in-a-row dub celebration.
We all silly like the mayor.